Hello everybody and welcome to Curse of Mother Mystery episode 13. As always, there's a content warning during these sessions of bad language, gothic horror and gore. And with me I have a wonderful cast of players. I have Lady Lyria, the half-elven magus played by Julie. Hello!
I'm not doing so well.
I have Krakas, the gnome ranger played by Sean. Good evening.
I see dead people.
I have Nyx of the Vistani, a tiefling bard played by Adrian. Hello.
It's just a cup of tea. What could go wrong?
And certainly not least, I have Sir Aspida, the silver dragonborn paladin played by Aronox. Hello.
Hello!
Alright, what happened last time, I mean, not next time. Our party...
Please do tell, what happens next?
Yeah.
No. You will have to find Eva and maybe get her out of her stuff to get her prophetic powers back to gain that kind of power. Last time, our party dealt with the death of one of their horses. Rest in peace, Dave.
Rip.
Whilst mourning the death of Dave, they also picked up about 20 bats from the ground and the entrails of Dave. Talked a lot about cooking spiders. But we're on their merry way towards the town of Vallaki. On the way, close to dusk, when they were going to set camp anyway, they met a fork in the road, leading towards a hill and a lonely windmill. And a raven with blue-tinted feathers arrived and talked with Lyra and made the whole party think that she is cuckoo. Illyria thought that this raven was leading her or the party towards the windmill itself, but Kraka, seeing food, shot it with an arrow, and yet this raven survived. They decided to head towards the windmill anyway, and upon crossing the hill, Kraka saw something really strange in the tree line behind the windmill. A almost half-veiled area where the trees and the fauna flora seems to be dead. It was cold in that direction. The light seems to dim, and strange figures made of mists were dancing frenetically in a circle. From seeing this scary scene, they rushed into the windmill and discovered that this is the place that Granny bakes her pies. They explored the windmill, found out that there were children's shoes, wigs, toys, and children clothing and box-like cages, and realized that the flour that they had seen in the mill were not normal flour, but grinded children bones. And upon that revelation, they met 3 spirits, twitchy and formless, and sometimes the detail of their features would increase, but it reverted soon again, and their movement can jump around a little bit, so they seem to be strange. More strange than normal ghosts are. They rushed down, couldn't open the front door, but then turned to face the ghosts and their demands. And the first ghost that they took care of was a ghost that wanted to feel pretty and have a tea party. And during this tea party, Illyria, who was possessed by this ghost and was dolled up, drank tea, which included a milky liquid called mother's milk that Nyx had poured into the 2 glasses. But the ghost seems satiated. But there's two more demanding the party's submission. Alright, let's go back to that moment.
Must we?
Yeah. I don't know what else. I guess you can be in denial.
Deny.
I don't know how that will help, but I mean,
Maybe not help you, but help me.
let's put on some music for this area. The small ghost with a light female voice had just disappeared and had left you alone for a few minutes, reeling from this tense and scary situation. And that's when another children's size white and grey and black twitchy form makes its way down the stairs. Sometimes it jumps over one or two stairs and just suddenly appears a few steps down. And it looks at all of you and says,
I wanna play.
Right, what would you like to play? We are about to play Tea Party. Is that not good enough?
Tea party, boy.
So, what did you have in mind? I thought we were playing hide and seek. You're
Don't
going to
like
hide.
tea.
Right,
I don't
right.
like tea anymore either.
Now things will increase a little bit in difficulty here. This ghost wants to play with you, and you can choose what you want to play with the ghost, as long as it, agrees and think it's fun and not apparently tea parties. And there will then be skill checks involved, and we shall see what happens if you reach 3 successes or 3 failures. You can help each other for advantage, but then you need to compellingly describe to me how you achieve such.
Right. Any takers to go first?
Crocus didn't have much of a childhood.
Oh no!
Dang.
I have an idea, but it's
I'm
devious.
feeling very sick, so I'll leave this one to you guys.
As for that, are you keen to assist this lovely child ghost to have some fun?
She kind of scratches her chin for a moment before stepping forward and kneeling down and kind of craning her neck so that it's not like too intimidating to this little ghost child.
Mm-hmm.
And says, when I was a child, my father and I would play a game called Hunter and Prey.
Oh no.
Okay.
It's a simple game, really, like hide and seek. Except, when the prey hides, the job of the hunter is to take the prey by surprise and drag them to their little special spot and tickle them on their stomach. And when the prey escapes, they win. When the hunter takes them and tickles them on their stomach, they win.
That sounds fine. I want to be the small guy.
She turns to Crocus. That is a very good choice. The smaller you are, the better you are at being prey. Easier to hide and escape.
Okay, Crocus, in response to what Watchman just said, right? He's going to perform. He's going to put like a triangle, like with his hands above his head, and start shouting from the other side of the room. The power of Boreas compels you. The power of Boreas compels you.
You don't wanna play with me?
Asphoda's gonna shoot Crocus, so come on, do it, look.
Do it, get possessed.
No, no, and he's gonna basically run like to a. I don't know where he's gonna run. He's gonna run to the door and start scratching it.
Like a cat in the shower.
Yeah, and the same
Crocus,
weird.
get yourself together. At least you don't have to drink fucking mother's milk.
It was your choice, not mine.
He doesn't wanna play with me.
Asphoda's gonna give Crocus a harsh look. Can I roll intimidation?
Yeah, right.
Do you want to roll persuasion or deception with this? Are you actually meaning to do him harm or fulfill this this threat? If
It will be. I think what's it? Not deception, like persuasion, with a very stern glare.
all right, and let's do presence persuasion then.
Presence persuasion. Here it is. Yes, 16.
All right. And then to resist this, Crocus, is empathy composure. Unless you want to resist it anyway, it's up to you.
No, I'm gonna roll.
Okay.
Composure, yeah.
Composure, empathy, yes.
Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna have to roll with this. Oh. So Crocus is just gonna be there, petrified, looking into Asphoda's like eyelashless eyes, staring at him, just like, oh, fine. Stop looking at me. Fine.
Look, child, he's ready to play.
Crocus is gonna face the wall.
All right. And then the ghost twitches over the floor, just appearing behind your back, and you feel a cold shiver move up your spine as there's almost like this icy breath going down your nape as the ghost approaches your backside.
Of course, because it's just basically taking the fetal position right now. It's like, oh, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Oh god, I might have to roll the
ghostly
madness table after this. Love it. Okay. Do you resist the possession, Crocus?
I think no. He's not in any state to resist it since he had to stare at like Asphoda's eyelashless eyes.
All right. Then you feel this cold sensation seep into your flesh and into your bones, pushing your consciousness back in your brain to a point where you can only experience the world through a thick plane of glass, unable to control your body, smell, or talk. You are no longer in the driving seat. Whoop. You know, for the sake of having a Crocus voice, Sean, do you wanna take over this little ghost?
I suppose I could try. I suppose.
Otherwise, I'm here to help you. Otherwise, I can do it if you want to. But
I'd rather you do it because I'm just too inexperienced with this sort of thing.
Crocus straightens and turns around with a big, excited smile and says, "Shit, that was fucking Crocus talk."
That's exactly what he sounds like.
I wanna play!
Oh god.
I will count to 20 for you to hide.
Okay. Will you hold your eyes? So you can't see me?
Yes, of course. I won't be able to see you, no.
Alright, okay. I will go hide.
Go. And she closes, covers her eyes and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
He's
6.
gone.
Yeah, she keeps counting until she hits 20.
Alright.
How did Crocus leave? Like through the door? Or he got up the stairs?
He went up the stairs.
Okay.
Okay, so you have counted to 20. What do you do now?
She'll turn to the rest of the party. All right, it's time to hunt little Crocus.
I think you're the hunter, right? I mean, you know the rules.
Very well. And she goes forth up the stairs.
Essa gives you thumbs up.
Good luck. Hope you make it, big dragon lady.
Alright, you go up the stairs, and you search the three floors. Let's make a let's make this would be perception intelligence.
Okay. $17.
Ooh. On the third floor, hiding underneath the pile of clothes, you find Crocus the ghost, hiding underneath it, and the ghost appears like with his hands out, like it jumps out.
Tickle time!
Oh, it's tickle time! She runs over and trying to ignore the fact that this is Crocus's body. And grabs the child and runs downstairs, threatening with her large claw to tickle his stomach.
And Crocus laughs and squeals in his voice, and it's a little bit jarring because it's weird to see Crocus act so innocently. And in the middle of this tickle fit, the ghost says, Mercy, I can't do it anymore, and leaves Crocus. So for like a second or two, you're actually taking Crocus. So Crocus, you feel that cold seep out of you, and you regain control of your body. Asphodel is like kneeling over you in like a half embrace as she's tickling your stomach.
Get off me! Don't eat me, you overgrown crocodile!
Oh, Crocus, you're back.
Stop it!
He stops. And kind of plops him upright and kind of dusts him off and pats him on the head.
What did you do to me? I feel violated.
I have no idea what you mean, Crocus.
The ghost still here.
Hunter prey.
I feel violated. Okay. and the ghost shimmers from your view.
Off they went.
Downstairs.
Yes, go downstairs.
Yeah, there are 3
Yeah,
successes.
Crocus is going first. He's legging it.
Running downstairs. Okay. All right.
You see the outside.
The ghost claps and says,
One more time! One more time!
Nick's like hears like the fact that Crocus, you know, his good friend, is traumatized and has been possessed, and the fact that Aspida kind of intimidated him into this, and he has like a sly look on his face. He's still a little bit freaked out, but he has a sly look on the fact, you know, that what goes around comes around. And he looks to the ghost and says, well, I did not have such a in-depth childhood such as Aspida, but what we did do was pony rides. And he looks to Aspida, and he pulls out Dave's bridle. Well, it is pretty fun, and ever wanted to ride a dragon?
Why the dragon?
Yay! And he looks over to Aspida and gives her the, like almost the same look that she gave Crocus of like, come on.
She's gonna what's it? Send an equally intimidating glare right back at him.
He gives like a kind of cheeky single eyebrow lift. And he goes, for the children, right, Aspida?
She takes a deep breath and exhales as frost, little flecks of frost comes out.
Yeah.
For the children.
He throws the Dave's bridle.
Crocus is gonna help put it on.
Well, this took a turn. Okay. It's a little bit, you know, big in some areas and tight in others, but you know, it goes. Had to loosen some straps and tighten others. But you know, it happens, and then the ghost flickers forward and says,
Who shall be my dragon rider?
Nyx is already like moving in, like he's about to like mount Aspida.
Alright.
And he gives a hand out to like the ghost and says, be careful in there, it is quite a mess.
Okay. Alright. And the ghost steps forward. And you do not
as he merges in with Nyx, Nyx is like almost does a Legolas kind of sling up onto the back of Aspida. He's like part taking fun in this as well as allowing the child to do it at the same time.
Alright. The mirth that you had of like getting back at Aspida for doing this sinks down into your stomach as this horrible experience, claustrophobic feeling rushes over you as the ghosts take hold, and you start regretting volunteering. Alright, Aspida, time to be a fun ride.
Yes, she is gonna go on all fours. Like a wagon.
A wagon, yes.
A wagon.
Almost like a wagon. Okay. What should we do for this one? I think animal handling cunning.
Oh boy. Okay.
For Aspida, you're still in the limelight right now.
Animal handling cunning.
Yes. And tell me also what you do once you walk around, I guess, this kitchen area.
Yeah, so she exerts some more of like primal instincts of hunting on all fours, and once she's on, she'll like, you know, go at it slow, and just run around this area before she starts like jumping, leaping, gliding, like going up the stairs, taking leaps and bounds.
Alright, let's roll and die.
12.
Oh, that's just enough. There are some times there where it's a little bit precarious, you're a little bit too into it. And Nyx is like always falling off, but most of the time the ghost is going, "Wee, dragon! Dragon go! Burn all the villages!"
Burn all the villages!
Oh my god! Oh, Illyria, you know what to do. Julie, you know what to do. And after like you know, 5 minutes or so, the ghost leaves Nick's body.
Nyx continues to ride Aspida even though the ghost is out of the body, pretending best he can to still be possessed.
Okay, all right. Let's do a deception here. Then deception presence.
Oh my god.
All right, empathy.
Easy to
Empathy,
beat.
composure.
I don't know what the 0.5 is all about though.
It's you did 3 times 1.5 there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Isn't that right?
Well, oh yeah,
Three?
yeah,
you need to
but I
round
wonder
it.
if it's it needs to be rounded. It's rounded up, yeah. So 19.
Okay, cool.
No, you know this immediately.
Good. The moment she does, she's gonna take Nyx, rip him off her back, and she stands up, holding him by the scruff of his collar,
Yeah.
and walks down with him, not letting him touch the ground.
Okay.
Like, spits his bridle out.
What? I thought you were liking it, that's what.
She puts the bridle in Nyx's mouth.
Oh, he would totally resist. He's gonna.
All right, let's do just an attack here versus AC. Just unarmed. So use your let's say a brawn to shove it in there.
My teeth.
His perfect white teeth, no!
And it's with proficiency, right? Because it's unarmed.
Yeah.
Okay, brawn. Okay. That one.
He ducked me, like, get out of your grip and like.
He turns his head to the side, and your fist with the bridle punches the wall instead. And so you hurt your fist, you know, having the metal there.
Totally turtle, you know, like duck my head down.
Yeah.
Turn into be a turtle.
Turtle Ninja Turtles.
But you brought back to seriousness when you hear the ghost say,
One more time!
Crocker's gonna beeline towards the door.
It's never gonna end.
Look, I only reach it.
One more time.
Marcus, calm down. We'll get out of here, okay?
Are you possessed again?
No, I'm trying to be nice.
Definitely possessed. Oh no! Vampire and possessed. This is not good.
As he turns to all of you and goes, all right, we only need one more, or a few more games. Quick ones, small ones. What did I do as a child? Nix Fistani games. Playing with sticks. Running over streams.
Throwing hoops on sticks.
Throwing hoops on sticks. Can we do that?
Well, there are more than enough things here. Krakus, hold up a stick and see if you can find a hoop somewhere.
Crocus basically picks up what's left of his ladle, puts it above his head. It's just like
William tell it. And like Nix finds, I don't know, an orange? I don't know what's in here. Like some fruit.
There are some dried fruit indeed. Some dried pear and apple. But they're like in slices, like dried.
Well, like shuriken.
Well, maybe put a pot on your head, Krakos, and we try and get it in.
That works.
You're a pot in your head. He's looking for a pot. Does he find a pot?
Yes, that you do. You can use the one that you brew tea in. If you want.
Oh, so it's still hot. Ah!
It's basically cooled a little bit by now, but it's like pleasantly warm instead of like scalding.
So Nix will turn to the ghost and say, 2 pears and 2 apples, and you throw them in, and whoever a pear is a point and an apple is 2 points, and you know, if you get it in, you get the point, and whoever has the highest wins. It's what we do.
Oh, that sounds fun. Okay. I wanna choose.
Who has the highest dex?
Illyria, but she is currently poisoned.
Well, I mean, Esmeralda might have the highest dex.
Yeah, let's see.
Being able to stuff herself into a chest and all.
Essie has 16 dex.
Illyria has 20.
Yeah,
damn.
it's true that you're poisoned right now, so maybe the ghost will choose you for that. Is anyone else who have 16 dex?
That would be Crocus, but he's currently holding pot and regretting it.
Okay.
Who knows what comes next?
Then the ghost will choose Essie, who has the lowest dex right now. That is not Krakus or Illyria. Is it Aspida?
Definitely not Aspida. She got an 8.
Okie dokie. And then the chat goes, I wanna be you, and I want to have a competition against you. You scaly, silvery thing.
Oh my, okay.
Esmeralda looks down on the ghost and says, what I do for saving my own skin and those of my friends. Fine, little ghost. My body's yours for a moment.
Illyria just gives her this like very sympathetic look.
Alright, so this is going to be how many things were they gonna throw next?
2 apples, 2 pears. Apples
Alright.
are 2 points, pears are 1 point.
Okay. So we are going to roll now as for the just 1d20 plus our dex score 4 times and see who wins more often.
Ready to lose.
All right, let's do the first one. 1, 2, 3. That was close. Actually, both of you miss, and
Easy
Essie
Essie stomps with her foot. Darn it! Come on, hand, do better! Alright. 1, 2, 3. Ah! What is wrong with this purple person?
Aspida kind of looks at her hand like, huh, that never happens.
Alright, for
Are we sure we want the kid to lose?
And can Aspida intentionally?
This is going to be a little bit dangerous. If you intentionally don't want to hit the pot, then you need to do a deception here.
Okay, just try your best. You got this.
We don't want upset ghosts. Okay.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
Oh my.
Alright, okay, so 1-1 between the ghosts and Aspida. Esmeralda go, yay! I did it! I did it! I did it! Did it!
You
Alright.
did.
For the last one then. 1, 2, 3.
Damn.
You're really lucky with my high rolls. And the last peer dimples down into the pot on top of Kraka's head. The ghost slips out of Esmeralda's body, and she's like takes a few steps, feeling dizzy and delirious, and like shaking her head. The ghost says to you all,
That brought up some memories that I have forgotten. I feel way more happy now. Thank you all. And then it disappears.
One more to go. Sorry, you
Aspida
guys
braces
alright?
herself for this next one. She knows this one. And she knows what she's gonna do.
good job, guys. Alright, yeah. Here comes the third ghost down the stairs.
Time for adventure!
Crocus is going to immediately beeline into some sort of chest or something to hide.
Yes, adventure.
Go straight in the fire. Yeah, let's do that.
There's no hiding.
He's gonna still try.
The ghost
Beginning of
takes
adventure.
twitches forward 1 step, and says,
I want to go on an adventure. I want to be a powerful and beautiful hero.
and she points towards Essie, and Essie like, oh no, not again.
Who rescues the beautiful damsel in distress.
And points to Illyria.
On my glorious draconic steed.
Which is
Illyria looks incredibly unhappy about being called a damsel in distress.
Against the evil sorcerer, the little monster, and his pet fiend.
Oh no! That's rude as hell! Kids can be so rude!
So, this ghost wants a little story to happen here. So it's going to enter into S's body and like be the hero, and wants to have Aspida helping her as being her steed, and she wants to fight against the evil sorcerer Crocus and his pet fiend Nyx. And have a glorious battle that needs to have like 3 skill checks in it to rescue Illyria, the damsel in distress. So
Well, a performance is something that I am used to, but the rest of you, I hope you've been watching my performances.
I'm most definitely in some sort of distress after that stuff. What even was that?
So I would give you like a minute here to like talk amongst each other of like how you want to set up this like small performance.
Right.
Put your heads together.
Bonk.
Any of you have any experience in acting?
Nope,
I
but
mean,
you did give me a warm-up earlier.
I had to lie about where I
Easy.
went to my parents a lot, if that counts.
Sure. Run with that. You're a runaway and you got locked in some sort of tower, needing of rescue because you want to stick it to your parents that you can do it alone.
Illyria feels almost a little bit called out.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, that's what's so funny about it.
I'm just gonna try to do the whole, like, princess who got rescued shenanigans. I've heard enough stories growing up. I think I can do that.
Right. And Nix will go to like where the dried fruits are and stuff like that, and say like, see if you can do something here with the fruits or something to make yourself look like a damsel, because you look way too competent right now.
Yeah, Ilaria, what do you do to make yourself look like a damsel? I wanna know.
I mean, Illyria probably still has some of the makeup on, and
True.
Is there something that she can make, like some sort of like makeshift,
You had something for the other ghost, right? When she wanted to like have a dress, right?
Oh yeah, like Nyx lent me his costume.
Yeah, right. You
So
can
Illyria
use
does
that.
look not that competent at the moment.
Fair enough.
I mean, unless there's like, I don't know, maybe like make some sort of like makeshift sort of like, I don't know, tiara or something, but that's all I can think about since she's already sort of dressed up, isn't she?
Yeah, you can just take up the costume again and just use your tea party getup.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, how do you Nyx and Crocus, how do you set up like the fight against Essie and Aswada?
Next, we go to Crocus and say, okay, buddy, I know this is not your strong suit, but what we're trying to do here is channel your inner rage.
My inner rage.
Yes, dig deep. I know it's not really a part of who you really are, but I'm sure there is a tiny voice in there just screaming to burn the world down. Can you channel that?
Oh yeah, easily. Yes, easily.
Easily?
Yeah. And he's just thinking on the few moments ago when he's been tickled by the dragon. He's just looking at Asmodee like, channeling in his inner rage. Like, wait, if I'm going to be a sorcerer, I need a cape and a hood.
Nyx takes off his robe with the tapestry of like a fierce battle, and like wraps it around Crocus. It's way too big for him, but like it drapes it over his head as well, and say like, act mean, act like the world is beneath you.
Wait, one moment. And Crocus is going to go off and find a pan, stick it on his head, and then come back. He's like, oh. And he's like using his wand like using his what's left of his ladle, his little stump as a wand. Oh.
The dreaded Lord Sospanarino. Yes, makes perfect sense.
Sospanarino will conquer this world.
Breathe back to you.
Saucepanerino.
I'm sorry.
And what would you have me be, Lord Saucepanerino?
I will have you as my sidekick, General Horny.
Just General Horny.
And what will be my proficiencies as General Honey? I need to get into character.
You're in general, you're quite horny.
Right.
Guys, we need to keep this
He's
child
shrugging.
friendly.
So just play myself? I don't quite get it.
Yeah, we'll stick with that. Yeah.
Right.
I will say spells and you will cast them.
Right. You've got this, and he rings, knocks on the saucepan, gong gong, and he casts guidance through it.
Rocker strains his back, is already Sauce Marino.
Alright. Okay. Esmeralda takes up a stick from the pile that's over there and fixes her cloak to be on just one side of her shoulder to become a half cape, you know? Do I look dashing?
You always do.
Lady Lydia. She gives you a toothy grin.
We named the wrong General Horny.
I think we just have 2 of those, it's fine.
That is the twist of our story. Illyria, you're a genius. General Horny, and Illyria, what is your name, Illyria? The hero's name. You must have a grand hero's name. I mean, Esmeralda sounds a little bit less of a hero.
What did you just say, cousin?
I mean,
What did you say about my name?
maybe, I don't know. Esmeralda von Richter?
She gives you a raised eyebrow.
Just a name. I mean, you play along. Be a little bit more creative. You're a Vistani, for God's sake.
What about just Alex the hero? Anybody can fit into the role. It can be both a female or a male.
Sure. Wait to commit.
You know that I was more of the muscle kind of, Vistani rather than the entertainment. Whatever.
So there it be, Sir Muscle. There you go.
Sir Muscle?
Perfect.
Fine. And what about you, Illyria? I guess Princess Illyria then?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
Princess Lyra.
Princess Lyra. Works too. Am I great steed of Asphodel?
It depends. Can you do some sort of steed accent?
Sounding like a beast.
Yes,
Bah.
I'm sure you can growl. But can you whinny?
It is a draconic steed. Dragons don't whinny.
I'm sure you could if you tried.
That would be inaccurate. You were here for playwright accuracy.
Are we really? Well, then we're in trouble with Sos Panarino. I mean,
You get a feeling that this is more about the artistry of it all, of this fairy tale adventure, rather than the
historical accuracy of writing a
yeah.
We're basically playing pretend.
She's
What a meta statement here.
She put it out there.
Bring out some dice and we'll roll these dice to determine if we're actually going to
I
succeed.
didn't play enough pretend as a child. Maybe that is why I play so much D&D now.
It's some meta here. We're playing pretend. Playing pretend. Alright, okay.
Are we ready? Are we ready to set the stage?
You're ready to set the stage? Am I whinnying?
Just do your best, Asfata. I'm sure you've got it in you to be the best beast you can.
The best beast. Well, very well then. Best beast. Best beast.
Are you okay, Asfata?
No, I'll be alright. I'll be alright. Terror. Terror. Got it.
I think we're ready.
Okay. And then Essie steps up to the ghost and says, "Alright, little one more time. Take my body, I guess." And the ghost says, "Yay! I'm going to be Sir Muscle!" Whoop! "Where is my steed? I need my steed for my adventure!" Suddenly, Esmeralda says with very animated hero trope movements, you know? A little bit like Naruto mixed with some kind of Knight's Tale.
Asuna will go on all fours and just roar.
"You're so fierce!"
And she just kind of, without a word, like shimmies her back and just gestures, "Get on, get on."
"Yes, we must rescue this damsel in distress from the clutches of the evil Sosparino," or something like that. What's the
It's Lord Sosparino to you.
No, I refuse to call him by such a respectful manner. He's a vile creature. Alright, and together, they ride around the room for a bit, together, in a circle. "We must search the lands, my beast, my draconic beast, to find the tower. The evil wizard tower."
She pretends to look around for this evil wizard tower.
Crocus is gonna jump on top of the table. Like,
Alright, you go up there.
fine, asshole.
There. Let's go there.
Yeah.
And these guys are over here. Yeah. And Ilya, do you want to stand in the middle there? It's not really a damsel in distress position.
Go up there, on top of the stairs, in your tower.
Yeah, I'm in the tower.
There is the evil wizard tower. Let's enter. Stay close behind me, beast. We need to be careful.
As he says that, Nyx will I don't know, jump across the clutter in the kitchen. Says, "No, you have found my lord's lair. You are way too good a hero, but I, Lord Horny," and he fashions out of his General Horny. He fashions out of his hand he's playing a French horn.
Yeah.
"I will best you in combat, or die horny."
Oh no! What does that even mean?
Just play along. I don't know what it means.
That wasn't in character, but
Alright. I'm not scared of you, evil fiend! And Esmeralda draws her stick sword and says, "On guard!"
Nyx will put his head back and laugh. "You think you can beat me with merely your weapons? I am unbeatable. I have slain better than you, and I have done despicable deeds. In spite of that," and he will flick both wrists and cast like poison spray into the air with both and say, "Do your worst."
I will do my best, fiend. Super mega pierce attack! Ah! And she like lunges forward in like a fencer move to like pierce the stick into your stomach.
Okay. He will play along with it and take like it looks like a mortal wound to the stomach. He goes, I was not expecting such thinness. Oh, you are stronger than you look. Just wait until you meet my lord, the Dread Lord Sospanerino. He knows how to heal me, and he will kind of do the whole henchman like wheel around and and hobble off.
Awesome. Let's do a like here an acting check here. And you don't have art and craft acting, I presume.
I have a background entertainer, so it's like a general.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this would be a little bit easier, but this would still then be deception, and would it be more manipulation or presence? I think with these flamboyant moves you've been using, I will allow presence here. So deception, presence. Thank you.
32.
Ooh. Nice. Yeah, the ghost seems to be enjoying itself. Oh, thank you. I was just about to do that. And she continues like up the tower. Campist, we're close by to Sospanerino, the evil lord. His reign will end tonight. But I need your help.
Crocus is gonna run in the way of the stairs. Literally jump in the way, because I'm like, imagine she's on top of Aspida.
Oh yeah, she's.
Yeah.
There he is. Evil
you
incarnate.
My horny general. Now you will face me.
Aspida just snarls and bares her teeth.
I am ready to take on this challenge.
Please, hero, help me.
The princess is mine, and before you know it, the whole lands will be full into darkness, and there'll be no hags.
The ghost looks confused. Hags? But hags are your allies, Sospanerino!
Oh yeah. Anyway, I cast. The floor is lava. You can't.
Quickly,
must find
beast!
high ground or you'll die.
Jump up on the cart!
Nix looks up to Lord Sospanerino and he goes, "No, my lord, you betrayed me!" And he will like fall down like with a thumbs up. Terminated.
Oh no! Beast, I cannot reach the stairs to end the evil lord with my mega super pierce attack. What are we going to do?
She braces her bod and like kind of puts her like butt high up in the air like a cat, ready to leap large leap across the lava.
Okay.
Crocus is looking very concerned about what Aspid is about to do.
Alright, let's answer that. Okay, so this will be the second skill check here. Let's do an athletics with dexterity.
Now. Okay, athletics with dexterity. Where is it? Here we go.
You land super gracefully on the stairs,
not worried at all that you would hit any of the lava, and the ghost cheers and says, "See, you cannot best our friendship."
Ah, you have defeated my lava spell. This is great. However, you will never defeat my next spell, if you can even stop me from casting it.
My super mega pierce attack is the fastest in the land. This is my moment. This is my moment as a hero to shine. If I can hit him before I can cast it, I can win. Ha! Aspida! My loyal beast, cheer for me!
She cheers.
Super mega pierce attack!
She like lunges forward with the stick.
Can Crocus dodge?
Do you want to dodge?
I don't think he wants to take that.
He's getting way too into it.
Oh no! Your ultimate move.
All right, let's do an attack here against your AC then, because this ghost is earnestly trying to hit you. Like not with like lethal like damage, but she's trying to hit your body with a stick.
Yes. What do I do? Because it's AC of 14 here.
Okay, so I'm going to roll, and I'm going to see if it hits your AC or not. Let's see. Oh, it does.
Oh.
It hits you like in the chest, and like there's a little you maybe take like 1 bludgeoning damage, but it's like not lethal, so it's just a little bit of oof.
Oof! Ah, you have bested me. All I wanted to do was cleanse this land with darkness. Yeah. The mushrooms.
Do you do a fake death?
Crocus is going to do a fake death to roll down the stairs.
Oh damn! I'm gonna roll down the stairs. Okay, you're gonna take a little bit of damage there, but with that kind of commitment, I will give you advantage to this roll. So let's do a deception here, with presence to sell this death move.
And you have guidance.
Roll to hurt yourself.
You have guidance, yeah.
Oh no! Okay, yeah, this is not good for me. Nah. Oh!
Plus D4.
Oh!
Roll a D4
Plus
as well.
1d4.
I got D4. How?
The guidance.
Guidance.
Oh, I'll just stick with that.
No, it's just plus, so it just becomes better.
It's plus
Oh,
D4.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Ah, sweet.
You're just rolling a 1d4. That's really mean.
Rolling a 1d4 instead of a d20, expecting a better result.
Wait.
You roll with super disadvantage. Picks up 1d4. So
Roll
just
your
do,
D4.
yeah, just do /R 1d4.
Oh, right. What, me?
Yes.
Yes.
Boost. Okay, 1d4. Okay.
Oh,
22.
Nice.
You lean over, you know, the stick. Your hands heavy. You deliver this this monologue, and then you just crumple and like gently fall down the stairs as best you can. You do take 4 bludgeoning damage though in that process, but you sell it well. And the ghost cheers. The super mega pierce move have never failed me. I am the hero of these lands. And she struts up the stairs and holds out a hand. I have rescued you, fair princess.
Illyria takes the hand and does like her best sort of like princess damsel in distress expression. Is like, my hero, you saved me. How can I ever repay you?
The ghost says, with only one small kiss, my lady.
I knew. So Valeria sort of like goes like in just sort of like kisses.
Nick's totally like Nick's looking up, like peeking through his like death throes, like we're watching what's going on.
Of course you are. Anyway, Essie, the ghost actually reels back a little bit and says, "Ew, cross on the lips, no."
Oh, I said on the cheeks.
Okay, good, yeah, because she was going for the cheek. And gives you a little peck on the cheek, and she says, "Quest complete." And the ghost leaves Essie's body, and Essie like blinks in front of you, Lyria, and says, "Well, I'm sorry if you were sorry."
Am I sorry?
She gives you a wink. The ghost hovers over to like the middle of the room and turns to you all and say, "I remember a bit more now."
What do you remember?
My parents sold me to Granny when they couldn't pay for her pies anymore. They just wanted the pies but nothing else. Then Granny asked to take me to her orphanage. But Granny wasn't who she said she was. There were 2 others here too. Evil women. But now with my wish of having a proper adventure is fulfilled, I feel I can forgive and let go. Thank you and goodbye.
Well, that was dark.
Didn't you think this place was dark before that?
I mean, yes. I mean, of course. After learning that the pies have been made of children, I mean, it was.
But, yeah, it was.
Gravity
Pretty much
on
all
it.
downhill. But Krakus, is the door open?
As soon as the ghost fades away, the temperature changes in the room, and the mist stops being so heavy, and you start hearing the sounds of the forest outside, and the door just creaks open on its own.
Asphoda is gonna like arm herself in the case that a granny appears.
Mm-hmm. Next ready is a sacred flame.
All right, do you rush out on the lawn?
I suppose you do. Yeah, Nick's won't hesitate. He's just gonna.
Before Asphoda like kind of steps out, she's gonna look at Esmeralda and ask, "Do you have a spell containing fire?"
I do. You wanna burn this place?
Of course. It
That
should
makes sense, actually. True. But a windmill can come in handy for the Barovians if it's cleansed. I don't know if this is all. If this is all the children. It feels like it was everything, but I wouldn't want to stay here.
That leaves who actually did this, but I don't think we're in any position to fight them.
It's only inconvenient because even although useful to Barovians, I don't think anybody would want a windmill used to grind up children for pie.
Can you say that
Probably.
again? Arinox, you started to flimmer in and out a bit there.
My bad. She says, although useful to Barovia, I don't think anybody wants a windmill that was used to grind up children for pie.
That's very true. Let's burn it down.
Yeah, I should be able to help.
And a fiery soul too, eh?
Well, I always liked evocation spells.
You walk outside. You take a little bit of a big gulp of air as it got a little bit stale and claustrophobic in there. You quickly look around on the hill, hoping that a granny and these two other women isn't in sight, with your heart beating fast. But thankfully, everything seems calm. I'll bet later. It's definitely turned into evening now, and it's darker outside as dusk has progressed into the darkness of the late evening. As for that, and Krakas, if you look towards a specific place in the tree line behind the windmill, you still see, if you're persistent enough of trying to find it, the dancing mist figures. They haven't changed, they haven't stopped, they just continue that dance in a circle, coming out from the tree line and then going into the tree line again. With no immediate threats around you, Esmeralda turns to Illyria and Asfida and says, just fire away, or?
At your command.
Alright though, one hot firebolt coming up. And she summons a firebolt in her hands, now shining as brightly as Illyria's. As both of you now are 2d10.
You've learned quite some tricks, has he?
Well, you know, Esmeralda came to you having 2d10, but now Illyria also has 2d10.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Essie answers Nyx by saying, I had to learn a few tricks through to, yes, it was not safe traveling with Richten. And she holds up her hand and fires firebolt after firebolt together with Illyria, and maybe 5 to 10 minutes after the whole windmill is illuminating this whole hill, and even to the tree line around the hill with warmth and light.
That's going to be seen at this time of night. I suggest we get moving and head to Valaki, or at least find some place a little further from.
Just get as far as we can away from here and make camp or something.
Right.
Yeah, and we
Yes.
don't look back.
And no more talking to ravens, okay?
I don't think there's something up with that bird.
When you say that, no more talking to ravens, a raven comes flying and lands on the grass about 10-15 meters away from y'all and go,
Is it
It has blue tinted feathers, but there's no arrow anymore.
Anymore?
Yeah, there's no hole. There's no arrow.
And we're definitely sure this is the same crow, though. Same raven, rather.
Not often you find a raven with blue tinted feathers.
I don't know. Maybe there's a whole squall of them.
But to approach it like this,
Illyria just completely disregards what Nyx just said.
The raven calls at you all again.
Hey there.
It makes two flags, like two wing flaps, seemingly a little bit miffed, and then flies away like 5 meters towards the dancing mists and lands again and goes, "Ah!"
You want us to go there? Look, I just came out of having to play pretend with a bunch of ghost children.
Nyx like turns to Crocus and say, Crocus, I know you don't know so much, but I know that you know a lot about hags. Do you know if ravens and hags, did they work together?
I have no clue.
You can roll an intelligence check though, if you want to, since you do have some experience.
Yes, definitely roll intelligence. Like, he's more clever than he appears. Wait a minute, I just need to quickly check. La 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 la. All right. I'm not adding proficiency to this at all, am I?
It's just a pure intelligence, so it's just your intelligence modifier.
What did I do? Oh, there you go.
You have a +4 to your intelligence?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, you have 18 intelligence. Holy balls, you're smart.
He's socially stupid.
That is the reaction my rogue gets whenever people realize she has 18 intelligence.
Like a
no,
freaking savant.
Crocus is as autistic as they come. He's socially dumb.
Well, when it comes to like animals that usually buddy up with hags, from your experience with the hags that are in the swamp, they usually like bats. No, not bats. Frogs. I mean cats. Crows and ravens as well. But bats and no, cats. I mean cats and frogs seems to be the most common.
But it can be ravens.
Can be ravens.
And you just gotta look at the raven and just think about it, like what his grandmother was telling him in the past about what to be looking out for. It's like, it could be in league with the ravens. Actually, I don't want to follow it. Actually, can I stick it again with another arrow?
Be my guest. I mean, I don't think you're very much please Illyria, but I think she is being, if that is true, and I know that ravens are usually meant to be a good sign. This does not seem like a good sign to me, but shooting it, you might anger her. I think she just needs to be taught these things. And Next one, I take care of it. It's okay. And he kind of like rubs his chest and wrings his hands, and he kind of like, well, I'm going to need some guidance with this.
Crocus is going to follow very closely with his bow ready. He's like, sausages.
Actually, I remember in Primeval Awareness, There's an ability where Asphoda, as an action, can feel out the intent of a beast.
What?
Oh, do you have primeval awareness, the predator ability?
Yeah, the predator ability. That's how she's
Oh.
like undead, but the second part of primeval awareness that she can communicate with beasts.
Oh. You can just do that automatically, or do you use like
You have an action to do it.
Oh, okay. Okay. And you can like sense what they're thinking and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can like feel out intent, and like relay some like simple things, like if they're hurt or anything.
Right.
Very hurt.
This is not a beast or an animal. You cannot read them. And with that, you hear the raven go there on the ground as it's looking up at you with some of that the fire in the background like crackling and being mirrored in his eyes, going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, just follow me!"
Did it just
gonna kill it now.
Shoot it!
I fucking
Shoot it.
told you!
It's a talking bird. Kill it. Kill it with fire.
I will kill you with fire.
No more bows, please. Just ha.
Okay, calm down. What are you?
Like, look, we shouldn't discuss things when we're at a potential.
We just set somebody to light some fire. How about we get some distance and then talk?
I agree. Asphoda will start going towards the not raven.
The raven holds up like a wing to like signalize like a stop. And goes. It's so weird because you see the beak moving, but it's like an out-of-body experience, just hearing like a normal voice coming out of the small creature, with the sound level comparable to a humanoid, right? Going, "Oh, there's no time. Just you need to go there and look at it, okay? Trust me."
Going there and looking.
Yeah, Illyria is going and looking.
This is super secret things. You never saw me. I never talked to you. Goodbye. And then it caws at you. And then it flies up.
I told you that Raven was special.
I hate to admit it, but yes, I realized it when I tried to find the intent, and then saw it wasn't very bestial.
Well, I'm already stuck here. Up to you guys, but I'm. Should have just let me shoot it.
I'm just worried if we get into another fight. I'm not sure how much use I'll be.
In the distance, there's another like angry caw.
Let's have a look, shall we?
We looking. We gazing.
You looking? And before we go looking, we're gonna go resting. Let's take a 5-minute break for some water and some poo-poo.
Yes, I will be right back.
I'm just gonna go and
My
get
coffee
some,
addiction needs fulfilling. I also will disappear. Bye bye.
The Raven had to shout at us because nobody believes Illyria, which to be fair could still be working for the hags and we're running into a trap.
Oh. Crocus is autistic? Same. High five. Well, yeah, Crocus is definitely a mental character rather than a social character. It's not very good at the social, but good at the thinky thinks.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sorry if I'm a bit quiet today.
No, it's okay. Hasn't been that quiet.
Yeah. I'm very passionate about this fucking raven not being a regular raven, okay?
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
That was a really fun moment. Just cawing and then, oh, for fuck's sake!
Still don't trust it. Didn't trust talking ravens. What the fuck?
I don't necessarily trust them either, but I told you there was something up with that raven.
Leading you to your death.
That is why Illyria isn't too keen on going, but also... I don't know. I mean... Technically, that raven has been leading us towards our doom since the very beginning, considering it led us to the tavern where we met Irina, who we then...
It's smart.
Or well, her brother. Like, where we met her brother, who gave us the Irina quest, basically. That set us on this path. If you wanted to look at it that way.
I mean, you don't know if the raven led you just to the tavern or to a specific person inside. I mean...
Yeah. I'm not saying that we should trust it, but like... I don't know, with what they like say about ravens,
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like birds.
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't think I've done such a elaborate in-game, you know.
Yeah, that was a meta. That was a meta roleplay. K9, hello.
I'm back.
You know, I didn't even realize what I said until you pointed it out.
What? What
Like that when I said we're basically just playing pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how meta that was until Bexxy pointed it out.
Playing pretend in pretend. How you doing, K9?
We could like try to play a game of D&D and D&D.
This is Frostmark, so...
Fair.
True. Playing Frostmark in Frostmark. But it felt more like we were playing
What are you
D&D
doing?
in Frostmark, to be fair.
Hey. One of my cats crawled like under the blanket that I have on my couch, and now my other cat is like messing. Oh, for fuck's sake! Leave her alone.
That's so cute! Sean, you there yet? No. We're waiting for Sean. And his coffee. Coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee. yeah, that was a really fun encounter.
I don't like the fact that like we're walking into something and am I still poisoned? I mean, you didn't say otherwise.
Yeah, no, you haven't had a short rest during that time since it was like exploring and like actively doing skill checks and stuff. So no, haven't had a rest yet.
I assume that it goes away when I have a rest.
You hope so.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know, just the way you said it just now.
I don't know what you mean. Welcome back, Sean.
Hello.
Hello.
Is everybody back?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Okay. Let's bring it back. Alright. You walk towards the... I'm gonna wait until these typing noises.
Sorry, Al.
It's okay. We should also put on some music here.
Is it WAM?
As you approach the tree line behind the windmill, the temperature drops, and within 10 meters of it, your breaths come out in white puffs. You see more detail now of what's going on in front of you. Around this area, you see cowled humanoid shapes made out of mist dancing around these trees that are all dead, black, and empty husks. Even if Barovia is not that green, there can still be tough weeds and fragile forest flowers, but here the ground is completely barren. Hinting between the dead thin trees, you can see through the mists some kind of tall stones clustered in an area just behind the tree line. There's an indescribable fear in the air, one that you do not fully understand. But there's no visible threat in sight. The figures in the mist continues their silent dance, seemingly paying you no heed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you continue?
Well, we're following Illyria.
Illyria, do you walk up to...
Illyria is starting to consider if this was a bad idea. And just sort of says, like, maybe we should have find a place to rest. Angry Raven or not.
But how that not Raven put it felt kind of rushed. Like it really wanted us to go forward. Most of all, before anything else.
Alright then.
Seems scary too.
I don't like this idea either, Illyria, but you know, if you feel like this raven is something to follow, and Asphodel has her crazy primal abilities, we could at least maybe sneak up.
I don't know if we should follow it necessarily. I'm just like, it was more the fact that it has been around so far, and after what just happened, I'm not sure it can be trusted.
But you're still curious about what is up ahead.
Yes, but I do still feel there's something wrong with me after whatever was in that tea.
Right.
We should be careful.
Crocus, can I
Right.
have my jacket back? Unless you wish to be Lord Sospanarino for a while longer.
Well, how about a bit warmer in here? Are you sure you want it back?
Please. It's a
Oh.
little chilly.
Oh, okay. So he fastens it, gives it back to you. Am I going to ditch the pan that's still on my head? Or am I going to keep it? Keep the pan.
You're like king of the kitchenware.
It's up to you.
It's a replacement ladle, I suppose. Shorter range, but wider girth.
It's a cursed comment. Okay, so Nyx will take his jacket and he will kind of like turn it inside out, and it's like a darker fabric on the inside. And he's going to look to Illyria and say, "Well, if you say so. If you're not feeling so well, I don't do this often, but I should try and sneak up. I'm not too inept at it." And he'll put the collar up.
Pop the collar. Definitely an expert.
And he'll skulk. He'll try to skulk.
Sneaky, sneaky.
All right. Do you want to do some sneaking checks here, or
Yeah.
you're just careful?
No, do a sneaky stealth check.
All right.
He only does this if he like flips his jacket inside out.
Yeah, I see. Stealth cunning.
Cunning, eh?
Yeah.
Oh no.
You sneak ahead, skulking up towards this line of dancing figures, and you realize yourself that you could have done this slightly better upon your approach, but when you're just 1 meters away from the dancing figures, like almost like you can just reach out and touch this particular thick area of mist, nothing happens. They continue their dance.
Can I detect that this is like a non-humanoid entity, but more like a mystical mist?
Let's do an occult check then with
Oh, God.
intelligence. 15. You have no idea.
But they're not hags.
Well, I mean, they are, see-through. They are made out of mist. It's just a little bit thicker mist than normal that is taking shape into these figures.
Okay. Well, I may not know what they are, but can I perceive what they're doing at this range?
Oh yeah, you're just like 1-2 meters like away from like touching them as they dance past you, and they're dancing around the stones.
In any particular pattern? I mean, he's seen quite a lot of formal dances in a way. Like, is it like a ritual dance, or is it more like a, I don't know, rain dance, courting dance? Because like the Vistani do all these different dances around the fire, right? So, is it a horny dance? What is it?
What is a horny dance?
I don't
General
know.
horny would know.
General horniness. There's French horns, English horns.
Yeah, you have seen quite a lot of like different kinds of dances and participated in a few. And but the dance they seem to be partaking in doesn't have it's not coordinated, and it seems pretty what is the right word here? Wild. It seems like these figures have left their inhibitions and shyness behind and is just dancing in pure ecstasy and self-expression.
It's kind of how Nyx dances.
He'll
He'll like
dance like that.
Right
he'll
onto
look back
that
to
one.
the group and kind of like give a shrug and like kind of questioningly beckon them over, like it's okay. And then turn his jacket inside out and put it back right way with the tapestry on the outside. Stealth mode deactivated.
You guys follow?
Yeah.
Alright. All of you are now, you know, seeing the figures. You don't see any features of like any faces. The mists don't go into that kind of detail. But you also partake in you see this their wild and uncoordinated movements going around in a circle. Not paying any attention.
I'm just gonna say here that Crocus is like kind of like taken by all the dance moves, and he's just gonna start doing like a little shuffle that no one's looking, just like in the background, kind of like doing his best to like imitate some of the dance moves.
You hint the stones past the mists, but and the dancing figures here, but they're really thick, and you need to go past them to see more detail.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll do so.
Okay. You walk up towards the mists, holding your breath a little bit as you touch the mist and disturb the shapes of the figures dancing around, and you know, you steel yourself a little bit, wondering what is going to happen. You feel the temperature now. It's like dropped to minus like 5 or so. Chilly. There's frost on the ground, and the mists themselves also feel really, really cold. But you walk through the dancing forms in the mist with no problem, and walk into the small clearing beyond the thin tree line to a ring of stones. Now when you can see them a bit closer, you realize it's certainly not natural. But these 9 weathered stones are not just standing in a circle, they're floating in a circle. They slowly spin in an unknown wind in the same direction as the dancing mists. From all of their tips, there's a small trickling waterfall of dark crimson liquid that trickles down the stone surface to a dark pool in between the stones. Krakas, as someone who has lived close to nature your whole life and have a connection to it, a singular connection to it, there's something seriously unnatural in this area. You instinctively feel that there has been a strong presence here that has been tainted or corrupted by something. And you remember having this feeling before, once when you drifted a bit too far into areas of the swamp that you shouldn't have gone, and that you had to run home because you could intrinsically feel that something was hunting you.
Well, Crocus is just gonna break out in a cold sweat and like just be like, grab Nyx's stealth cloak and be like, I don't think we should be here.
Why not?
There's something very wrong. This reminds me. I went too far. into the marsh once, and I think I was close to where the hags should be, and it's the same feeling. Let's go back. Let's find that raven, shoot it, make a pie, and yeah, let's just go to Valaki or something.
As Crocus says that, Nix will look around for like the ravens, if they're like if it's here or if there's like other ravens nearby.
Oh, that's actually like when you entered into the circle of dancing figures in the mist, the sounds of the forest disappeared. And there's no living things here at all.
Oh, ask for to take a minute for primeval awareness to sense out any undead.
You might have been right about that, Raven.
You starts concentrating on primeval divine sense, I guess, or is it primeval awareness?
Primeval awareness.
All right. That takes 10 minutes, right? To sense.
It only takes 1 minute.
Oh, all right, nice. Then it happens pretty quickly. But during this minute, as you stand there for a few seconds and taking in this atmosphere, the stones slow down and then come to a stop, hovering gently in their place as ruin starts to shine in a grey light all over the stones, almost as they're sensing your presence. And as the primeval awareness comes to its end, there's no undead in this area.
Oh.
Nix will get curious and get closer to the runes.
Mm-hmm.
Given he's out and about, like trying to get information for his book, you know, the rubbings of ancient stones and stuff would be certainly interesting.
True.
He's gonna see like what they are, get up close and read them. Well, if they're in text that he knows, or make a rubbing of them if he can.
All right. When you come closer to the stones and take a time to look at them, you see the shape seems to be like a spiral of ruins coming up the stones up towards the tip, but on top of them, this light gray runes stop to form a circle of runes, but seems to be in another language, where this blood crimson liquid is coming out of the stone like a fountain trickling down into this dark red pool that is in between the stones. What languages do you speak?
Ancient Markish, Infernal, Borean, and Gnomish.
Oh. Yeah. You do not recognize the runes of the pale grey light, but you do recognize the runes around the opening in the stone where the crimson comes out, shining in a red color, and that indeed is infernal. And the word that is written around this this fountain opening, you could say, says submission.
Mm?
Are there other texts on other stones? He won't tell the party just a second, but he'll like say, get closer, go, curious. And then like look around to the other stones to see if there's other infernal text.
Yeah. Um, what do you other guys do in the meantime? Do you just wait or?
Wow, the primeval awareness is done, and seeing like Nick looking at the runes, like shoot, Asphoda's about to walk over there and check it out too.
Alright. Crocus Illyria?
I mean, Elira will also have a look, but I don't think she speaks many languages, so she's mostly sort of like glancing at it, seeing if it's something she can understand, and then just sort of looks around, looking out for any danger.
What is the languages of the group?
Asphoda knows Ancient Markish, Borean, and Draconic.
Wait.
Illyria knows. That is a very good question. Probably Elvish. That's it.
Crocus knows Gnomish, and he knows the spoken of Borean and ancient Markish, for he cannot read either.
Yeah, I mean, Illyria obviously has those two, but mostly, like, the only other thing she has is Elvish, I guess.
That's still something.
Alright. Yeah, none of you recognize the pale grey language that's on the stones, but Crocus, you are very, very intelligent when it comes to like alchemy. There might have been some weird stuff that your parents have told you, you know, in your education, considering their knowledge as well. Let's make an intelligence check here with disadvantage.
Ooh! If only I had advantage. Someone have guidance on me.
Didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
No, you have never seen these kind of runes before. As you finish walking around the stones and reading the infernal letters around the tip of the stones, you read there's 9 stones. So submission, corruption, power, superiority, claim, curse, steal, siphon, master. I can post
Steel as in take or steel as in metal?
it doesn't take. I can post them.
He will like. I mean, it's very obvious that he's like looking at text and going to the next one and then writing it down in his book and then going to the next one, writing something down as well. And he'll actually go to Asphoda and say, Asphoda, I am not a, how you could say it, a religious person. I've always found the power within me to get me by, but I have noticed since we have been together for a time that you do call upon the powers in a different, maybe more divine way. Is this true?
In a sense, you are correct.
No, well, that's good, but see, I haven't been inept my whole life, and I have studied my own Velaki historical language of Infernal, and on these stones are texts of in Infernal, and I wonder if I say these words, if something might ring a bell for you religiously? Like maybe you heard of a prayer, or you've heard of other instances of these words being all used. Is perhaps something like that?
Could be possible. Can't know unless I, know what these words are.
I'm sure you. I mean, well, try and think really hard. And he pats her on the back and casts guidance.
Okay, so he's I assume Nyx will tell her the words of these runes, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. Does any of it ring a bell in her brain?
Do you have academics, religion academics, Boreas?
Nope.
Okay, then it will be a harder DC, but give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence. And it's a 1d20 for guidance, right? Wait, 1d4.
Yeah, 1d4, yes.
Oh no. That's even with guidance.
Bad.
Yeah, no, it rings no bell. But, I mean, everybody here can agree upon that it's very colorful words.
Right. I mean, these words, nobody would write them in any sort of context other than something powerful or channeling. And the only thing I can think of in that nature would be a religious sort. But the fact that it's bleeding, maybe it's bleeding. I don't know. Nyx will smell the fluid.
Yes. Indeed, it smells like blood.
Certainly smells like blood. Why would these rocks be bleeding? I don't know. I don't know where the source comes from. It's certainly very spooky.
Well, let's take a step back, shall we? We are in Barovia that is surrounded by mist, and the mist appears to take a humanoid form that spins around these bleeding stones with runes that suggest dominance and control. And knowing what I can at least gather from Boreas, a deity who is all about strength and power. But who knows? Whether it's related, I can't say. But at the very least, these stones has a significance to the mist around us. Whether it's significant to all of Barovia, I don't know. Or related to that whatever happened to Strahd's beloved and how they used her soul to trap him here. If you want your imagination to go wild, maybe the stones bleed because they, I don't know, took her body and her soul, shoved them into odd but powerful rocks. And here they are, being forced to do its bidding, to whatever mechanisms there be.
Perhaps.
I mean, maybe.
Krogan is the curious type. Can he, with these runes, are they like carved into the rock, or are they just written on the surface?
They're carved, and the light seems to come from within, illuminating the indentions.
Krogan wants to stab it with his stick because he wants to see if he can like mess with it.
All right. You stab the stone with the stick.
The red bits. He's trying to like remove the red runes.
Oh. Well, they're carved into stone, so... Are you gonna...
His stick is hard, it's metal. Metal beats stone. You've been playing Valheim, you know this.
Well, there's a clang sound. And the stone kind of absorbs some of the force by like slightly bobbing down because the stone is floating. But there seems to be no change.
Is anyone gonna stop this little gnome like whacking the dodgy looking stones?
Yeah, I think Nix would actually, because he's like kind of investigating it. Like he will like grab the saucepan, try to grab the saucepan.
Illyria will sort of like also like have like Illyria will sort of like maybe like trace over the runes on the stone a little bit, and it'll be like, so what did that raven want us to do here?
I don't know, but this seems very important for a raven to, well, quote unquote raven, to tell you to come this way. Do you feel anything, Illyria? I mean, it seemed pretty adamant that you come here.
I mean, it seemed adamant that we come here, right?
I suppose. I mean, you're just the one that spoke to it.
Well, I was the only one who believed that it was more than a regular raven, so...
Would, looking around at these stones, I mean, it does feel all sorts of occult-like, and he wants to know, like, would anything ring a bell in terms of, like, something Madame Eva would have, like, either spoken about, or, like, it does seem quite Madame Eva, I suppose. Especially with the infernal parts of it, it seems, I don't know, closer to what Nyx knows as opposed to maybe just general religion or anything like that. Is there anything that could be dovetailed with that?
All right, yeah, let's draw an intelligence check here to see if you remember what I'm even talking about this.
Intelligence? Okay. He will rub his hands and give himself guidance.
Right.
There's got to be a brain between those horns. Oh, yeah.
I mean, she said a lot of things that sometimes you didn't believe in or think that would be important for you and your adventure in writing books. So, don't remember anything about this.
Damn, I keep forgetting to give myself inspiration as well.
True.
Like, if you want to, at it.
If you want to, you can roll with your inspiration if you want to. I would allow it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I told myself, hey, I've got 6 dice to give, and I've got sorcery points too, and I never use them. Like, and I was like, I just rolled, and I'm like, damn, I should have said it.
All right. Oh, okay.
Okay, so a 6.
Oh, that's sad. I needed a 20, so you couldn't even.
No, it's 19.
Sad. But Essie also takes a step forward to you guys. Says, I have never heard or seen anything like this. I didn't know that this existed even in Barovia. This is outright creepy. And why would the Raven want to lead us here?
I don't know, and I don't know why there would be these names on each of the stones. Unless they are trying to be matched, then I mean, no one's actually touched them, but what harm could it do? And Nyx will go out.
I said Illyria was like touching them earlier.
Oh, okay.
Crocus was bashing it. He had to climb on it to crash it. He full on hugged it.
Oh.
As for just watching these people touch and bangs these important looking stones.
Well, Illyria was careful.
Yeah, just like investigating.
Crocus was
smashing stuff.
Does any of you touch the infernal runes or the blood itself?
I did say that Nyx was going to take rubbings, so I don't know if that
Right.
counts.
You don't experience anything when you do the rubbings.
Okay. Well, he'll go around and do the rubbings anyway.
Paper is an excellent barrier against those powers of the deep, dark, infernal places. Paper beats rock, after all.
Oh my god.
Out of this is probably
Does anyone have scissors?
very bad idea.
Rock parchment shears.
But
Okay. What is this?
I kind of wanna touch it.
Do you touch it or not? You cannot
Yeah, I
be
touch
kinda.
it.
Do or do not, as Fiona says.
I'm trying to justify it, but Illyria probably just also has a look at the infernal runes and maybe just like because nothing happened when she touched the others, she just touches the infernal ones as well.
Alright. As soon as you touch the infernal runes, your arm is seared with pain, and a wound opens up on its own at the point where you touch the stone, and blood leaves your body and joins the stream. You take 3 necrotic damage, and your HP is lowered with 3.
I'm used to that at this point, it's fine.
Oh my god.
You know what? Crocus is going to see, of course, Illyria is obviously injured. She probably yelped or something when this happened. He's going to come over with...
Yeah.
That was disturbing. Like, you could feel your, like, flesh, like, creeping back and, like, rupturing, like, on its own. And your blood, like, rushing out of its body on some kind of command.
Ooh. Ooh, okay.
Like, I wanted to join the stream.
Oh, that's what I had tonight. The bats. He's gonna take the bats that he has, and with her halberd, skewer 3 bats, making sure that their blood comes out, and makes it touch the rune, the fiendish rune that Illyria had touched earlier.
Alright, as soon as the bat touches the rune, all blood inside of the bat runs out of it and joins the stream and goes down into the pool below.
Are you sure feeding whatever this thing is a good idea?
I don't know why we're here, but the raven who spoke said we should come here. So either this was a ruse, a red herring, or it's something specific. But I don't know really what these are. The fact that they just injured you. Do you need healing? I have some bandages here.
I'll be fine, I think.
Okay.
Can I apply...
Go ahead.
Yeah, can I apply the spicy restorative ointment on Illyria?
Yeah! Oh, no, it's the spicy one. It's the spicy one.
Yes.
Oh.
I want to know partly what it does, but also to help out.
Right. It was a extra mind essence on top of that, right?
I don't recall, but let's assume yes. I was very bright and not wrote next to it.
Oh.
Sweet.
1 second. Yes, it was an extra mind. Alright. You put the restorative ointment on her finger. you written up what it does?
No, you said I don't know what it does.
Oh, you know, but what it normally does.
Oh, I did at the time, but it's been a while.
It contains 1d4 plus 1 doses of thick mixture that smells faintly. No, that's not true anymore. Okay, so how many doses do you have? 1d4 plus 1? Oh, damn, okay, you crafted 5. It receives 2d8 plus 2 hit points. And it ceases to be poisoned and is cured of any disease. Alright.
Nice.
Finally,
Thank you.
that thing is broken. You feel definitely better, and Lyria, you have +2 to your intelligence right now
Nice.
until you finish a
Yo.
rest. So your brain grows a little bit.
You gain more wrinkles temporarily.
Becomes more
Oh,
gnomish.
no.
What's happening?
Alright.
Ian, I have a question about this
Mhm.
blood. You said it fed into a pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she knows that there must be a reason why the Raven brought the whole party here. It even said that that it wasn't supposed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very special. So as for the being quite curious, but in a smart way, not going to touch it herself, with the shriveled up like bloodless bats
Mm-hmm.
still at the skewered on her halberd, she's going to take them and dip it into the pool.
Okay. Let's roll a quick brawn check here.
Brawn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this includes any proficiencies, right?
This is not an athletics, this is just a pure brawn.
Okay, it's +4.
Yes.
Oh.
16, okay. As soon as the bad body is submerged in the pool of blood, you feel something tugging on it, pulling it, and it pulls you and the glaive for a moment, but you put your strength against it and you're able to rip your glaive out of whatever that was, and you stumble back a bit.
Is there anything like of significance on the tip of her halberd besides blood?
No.
Did that troll just eat the bats?
Yes. Yes, it did. There is something in there. Something is feeding into something. That's for sure.
Alright. As it says, this is very disconcerting. I don't like being here, but with those wrappings, we should definitely take this information back to Richten. He might know something about it. I have no clue. All I know is, I don't know what we are going to do now, and there might be hags because we burnt that place down.
Yeah, I propose we find a place to rest for the night, and if the Raven wanted us to do something, it can come and tell us.
Or at least we've seen it and we know it, and we have record of the stones in my book. So I don't know. Maybe there is linkings between these 9 9 points in a circle. I don't know.
Maybe
It
it
seems
just wanted us to see it for some reason.
maybe Von Rechten knows something, or some other religious study academic, perhaps. In Velaki might know, but for now, I don't think we can do anything further here, unless anyone else wants to do any other crazy, insane things like bash it with the saucepan again.
Crocus gonna kick a stone into the puddle.
Nick's like clips him on the back of the head.
What?
You just saw it at Illyria and you want to like mess with it. What if we dunk you in there? How would you feel about that?
If it makes me an all-powerful vampire lord.
I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe, but
Maybe it's good.
it could also take your head off, and you won't be a vampire lord. So maybe we find out more before we go throwing more rocks and ruining your chances of becoming a vampire lord.
Ah, very good, very good. Although heads grow back, you know.
What?
What? What? Are you making things up? Or you're referring to mushrooms?
Mostly mushrooms.
We need to get you some mushrooms.
Crocus, without saying anything about your hygiene, you're not a mushroom.
All this talk of mushrooms is making me want mushrooms and to dip them into the water. We should definitely come back with mushrooms.
Right.
Wouldn't it just make your... We should find a place to make camp.
Alright, where do you go? Well, first of all, you exit the area. You walk past through the dancing mist people without them reacting, and the temperature.
Crocus is doing the hula as he goes.
Little area watches out for angry ravens.
It's kind of quiet in that regard. It doesn't seem to be any raven that comes to bother you.
Is it like dark now?
Yeah, it's about 8-9 in the evening.
So pretty dark for Barovia.
Yeah.
Ezzy, I don't think we're gonna make it to Velaki tonight. Maybe we should go source some sort of cover. I mean, unless we can all squish into the cart.
We should definitely leave this place. Probably travel a bit away from it too.
Mm-hmm.
We just burned somebody's house down.
Enterprise.
Given they turned children into pie, it isn't a big loss, but
we certainly don't want to meet the owner, now do we?
No, especially not with surprise. On our times, maybe.
So, let's take Boreas and go as far as we can before we take rest.
You go back to Dave, who's been like eating a little bit of the grass where
Dave is dead.
Oh fuck, Boreas. Sorry.
Ghost of Dave, he haunts us. He's on the hill.
Who's been nibbling on some grass.
We have to play a game with Dave for Dave to move on.
Oh no.
That's really sad, actually, because we're gonna eat his sausages. I mean, intestines.
Yeah.
He will live on within us.
We'll just start randomly neighing.
No.
For at least 2 days.
Oh,
Plus 1 to possession.
You go back down on the road. You travel on towards Valaki until probably around 10-11 in the evening after like traveling like an hour or two. Both Boreas and you guys are too exhausted to carry on, and so you make camp in as a dry place and protected place as you can, a little bit from the road, but going far into the forest can be dangerous, so you keep rather close and make a little campfire. Snuggle up inside of the wagon or outside. Does anybody keep watch or talk? Or do you wanna skip ready to the watch part, or do you wanna talk as a group first?
Well, first thing first, Aspida will take first watch at the very least.
I mean, she has no eyebrows or eyelashes, so that's she's the right person to do this.
Lyria can also take a watch.
Alright. As he says, you can also take a watch.
Yeah, I can take a watch.
Alright. Do you have anything to talk about during the campfire part, or do we skip immediately to the watch?
Crocus wants to talk about the economy of Barova and how it's taken a sudden, it's suffered greatly recently due to the destruction of the pie facilities.
What?
We just halted the production of pies in Barovia, which is going to affect the economy overall because they're no longer making pies.
I'm not
To be fair, those pies were made out of children.
And the economy was children too.
Yes, but that also means there'll be a lot more unemployed because there'll be more kids that will live, not become pies.
Well, what unemployment would there be? It was just one hag who employed herself.
No. There was 3 hags and possibly any haglings they had.
I think this is something Barovia will overcome.
I'm not so sure if I'm worried about the economic impact of this Krakus. I might be a little bit more worried about if the addiction part of this. I mean, didn't you hear what the ghost, I guess, said that her own addicted parents told her to this granny because they couldn't pay for the pies anymore? Imagine what people might do when they don't have access to it anymore.
Lyria looks over to Nyx.
Aspida looks over to Nyx.
Crocus is still pondering what you just said, and it's just like, yes, that could. It's clearly it was an unwanted move on our part to burn down their facility.
I mean, we can't really let them operate and continue to kidnap children, can we?
Ah, yes, we're just discussing, economics.
I'm pretty sure the economy of Barovia can't get much worse anymore.
Oh, it just did.
Well, the economics of Barovia will only improve when they can actually contact the outside world and not be stuck in this stagnant bubble.
How do we know they weren't exporting the pies?
We know that no one can go past the mist.
I have yet to hear about pie addiction anywhere outside of Barovia.
I'd have to agree with that as well. And I'm very certain that just as we have discovered how pies are fishy and that pie should be addictive, with the protectorate and whatnot outside misty Barovia, I can safely assume that any hag doing such deeds will be quickly snuffed out and terminated.
Crocus nods his head like, this is good, this is good.
Alright. You eat a small evening meal. Let's remove rations. You already given the horse feed for today, so you don't need to worry about that. But you guys need to eat. Also remember that you have 2 unidentified liquids with you. that were labeled as laughter and youth. And you also have like a bunch of different herbs and like sugar and baking powder and stuff like that as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Nix will hand over the spices and everything to Crocus and say, "I got these for you just in case you, well, for all of those times that you made stew and such when we were outside. I thought you'd like these." But he would hold back the youth and the laughter.
Crocus will take them and go, "Ah, Baron, thank you very much." He'll open the lid off one of them and start splashing it into his armpits.
What?
Mostly if it's paprika or something.
Alright, your armpits now smells like rosemary.
Well, there you go. Wow, thank you very much.
Nix like pauses for a second and then goes, "No, it's an improvement."
And Crocker's going to give you that winning, cheeky smile.
Alright. Then let's go to the watch. So, Aspidab, you were going to take the first watch?
Yep.
Let's make a perception composure.
There you go. 21.
21, damn. You spend the evening there in the thick mists, the temperature hanging really close to 0 degrees, almost going down to that point of frost. Autumn is in full swing, and slowly but surely heading towards winter. But for now, the temperature stays above freezing. The wind is slow. The weather above you is cloudy, and your whole world right now, with your dark vision, is very gray, different shades of gray, and you can either feel a bit claustrophobic, or it can feel a little bit cozy, since you're a little bit embraced by the mists and the hanging branches of trees around you. There's some sounds of night birds. There's some sounds of a wolf howling, but none seems to come close enough where it would alarm you, and you end your watch with just your thoughts.
Alrighty.
Alright. Who is next?
I think Illyria.
Alright. Aspida picks you up and you take your seat, and you look around, sitting there by the campfire, and about half an hour into your watch, you almost doesn't catch your shriek when a pebble hits your head, and you whip around and look around what that could ever be, but you're able to muffle your shriek before it becomes so loud that other people would wake up when you see a raven with blue tinted feathers looking down on you from a branch above.
Did you have to do that?
Well, you weren't really paying attention. It's dangerous to do that, right? You need to be careful.
I guess.
This is really exhausting. Protecting you guys. Haven't had a good night's sleep in quite a while. So, look a bit more alive, please?
I'll try. So, you've been watching us?
I'm not a weird stalker. it's
You're not a weird stalker as much as I'm not a weird lady talking to birds.
it's kind of funny, isn't it?
I can't believe they didn't catch on to that.
Kind of funny making you look so silly.
So, what was that earlier about?
I shouldn't really be talking to you at all. I'm just so... I've been in this form for a very long time, and I'm just itching some normal conversation with somebody, right?
I mean, I guess, so you... Do you have a name?
Yeah, I guess that's fine. It's Mariella.
Nice to meet you. I'm Illyria, but you probably already know that.
I'm not a weird stalker, but yeah, I do.
So, why aren't you supposed to talk to us?
It's dangerous.
Hmm.
Well, not for you, but for me.
I wouldn't want to put you in danger, and I promise I'll keep the gnome in check.
Please do. It didn't really hurt me, as in dignify me, I guess. Should have seen it coming.
Krakus just wants to mumble in his sleep. Ah, Raven Pie.
He is absolutely vile.
Yeah.
Ravens
I
are
can't
noble creatures. Even if you're not like one of me, like just normal ravens are noble creatures who think and feel, and they're so smart and they're so cute. They're not to eat, okay?
I would never dare eat a raven.
Good. Good.
So, we saw what you wanted us to see, I think.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
It is.
It must mean something. But they're telling me that I shouldn't think about it too much. But...
They?
Fuck.
You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but whatever secrets you have is safe with me. Not that I get along too well with the others anyway, most of the time.
Yeah, I see that. They don't seem that bad, except for that white raven eater over there.
They aren't.
So... why don't you get along better?
I guess Nix and I just started off on the wrong foot, and I wouldn't say I don't get along with Asphoda, it's just that...
Oh, she is so cool, don't you agree? So calm and collected. She's pretty strong too.
She
will
is.
do well in these lands.
I feel almost bad she's my glorified babysitter.
Raven giggles and brings his wing over his beak, like she was covering her mouth while giggling.
So if you want to tell me a bit more about what's going on if you can. If you don't, that's fine too. Why did you lead us to the mill?
Most of these things I don't really mind to say. You know, it is not only me, it's other people too that would be in danger. But we kind of thought it would be worth it because you guys are interesting and have like potential. So we just wanted to make sure that, you know, we didn't want anything bad to happen to you.
I would just like to understand why you led us into a ghost-infested windmill.
Oh, well, I believe that you could help them.
I think we did.
I think you did too. And that's amazing. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
I'm still not entirely sure what I drank. And I'm not sure I want to know.
You drank something? In there? Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. Well... So, one of those ghosts, right, wanted to have a tea party.
Uh-huh.
And it wanted to use my body, but then it told me, like, straight to the face, that I looked like a man.
You are kinda hiding your feminine looks though.
I mean...
Which is, you know, totally fine, but what is so wrong with being called man if that is what you're aiming for?
I mean, I'm more aiming for practicality.
Yeah, I guess maybe the whole man equals practicality is the issue here. That's some deep-rooted sexism right there.
Thanks for helping us, Mariella.
Just doing my job. Yeah, no, I don't know what's wrong over there, but I just have a feeling in my gut that is like connected to something. They didn't want me to show you guys that, even if I pushed them to do that, but I did it anyway. Oops.
Little rebel.
I shouldn't have brought you to the windmill either, because that was unnecessary amount of danger. Oops. But
well,
you helped
we were
those kids.
fine, and I guess we helped some kids.
Yeah, that was great. Like, you might actually be just straight up heroes that are able to change things here. I hope so, at least. And I will try to do my best to make sure that you might reach that potential. So please don't fire any more arrows at me.
I will try to keep the gnome in check and explain a little to my friends. It was nice chatting with you.
Yeah, you too. No, I shouldn't have done that though. I shouldn't have done that.
I'm sorry if I brought you or anybody in danger.
I hope it's fine. I'm just gonna go and patrol the perimeter now, so just keep an eye out.
I'm doing my best, which is apparently not very good. Illyria tries extra hard for the rest of her watch.
Okay. The raven flies away. And you carry on with your watch. And then you wake up. Nix takes his watch, and then Essie takes her watch last. And morning comes. and you travel on. Woo! Do you talk about anything that happened last night?
What? That I had a casual chat with the Raven because the party doesn't think I'm crazy enough.
Yeah! Yeah, do you?
No, she keeps it to herself for now, but she's like, sort of like, as you travel on, she sort of like tries to hint like, do you think that maybe that Raven is actually like showing us places where we could help?
As for the drawing, I quirk a perilous brow. And what makes you think that?
Well, it led us towards the tavern where we met Ismark, which arguably didn't go too well. And I very much dread ever setting foot in the village of Barovia again if we have to.
Fair. But the question would be, why would such a raven help us?
I don't know, but they say that the ravens here bring luck or something, right? And whatever it showed us back there was weird and probably something going on, but it wasn't dangerous.
Well, it's not dangerous if you avoid touching the blood or taking a bloody dip into the pool.
Well, we didn't get jumped by hags on the way, so I assume it's not working for the hags.
Fair. But it is curious. Well,
Just
Raven.
something to think about and maybe not turn it into raven pie for now. And she just looks at Krakus.
It's the. Well, this raven talk is making Krakus sick. No. Yeah, Krakus is right. It did try to lead us to our death. It might be better as a pie. Or actually, it's not very big, is it? It'd probably just make a little parcel. Yes. And he starts eyeing up the ingredients he's been given by Nyx. It's just like, that
Look, I don't think we should turn it into pie for now.
For now? We'll get older. Well, actually, wait a minute. It kind of did fly around with an arrow bigger than it. It's probably not very good meat anyway.
Lyria, you are sure one of these raven sounds in the background sounds particularly angry.
So, did you have a meaningful conversation with this raven, or like, was it more, "Hey, I eat worms. What do you eat?"
I didn't talk to a raven.
Okay.
Just
Inside check.
Inside check.
Alright, empathy, composure, and deception manipulation.
Perception. Oh, what's the insight composure? Got it.
Yeah, empathy, composure versus deception manipulation.
I'm trying to find my insight.
What is it? It's empathy, composure. Yeah.
25.5.
Okay, so in Nick's case, I mean, you're a little bit confused, but you don't believe like Illyria is, saying everything. But Aspida, you sense like a like a tiny amount of regret and like she's hiding something, and then she's nervous about something.
She's gonna watch this play out. Well, asking, That's so.
Who would talk to birds? That's crazy, right?
Funny, wasn't it that yesterday you talked to such birds? Like, we witnessed you approach a bird talking to it yesterday. And you fully had your faith in that bird.
I'm just saying that I don't think the bird is bad, and then she just sort of like turns away from you guys and doesn't answer you anymore.
Well, I mean, it was a rather peaceful night. I hope our journey towards Valaki is peaceful too. I'm sure Boreas can handle it.
Indeed. As well as our means to get inside the Valaki. One that might not involve turning you, Nick, and you, Esmeralda, into purple sheep.
Are we still doing that?
No, I mean, I don't think we have enough wool. But besides that point, I thought we were heading to the encampment, at least to begin with. Maybe they had.
We should probably
yes.
try the encampment and just learn more about the town, right?
It's just past the gates, about maybe an hour or two down the road, by the shore of Lake Sarovich. But as I said before, Valaki is not the same as it was when I was little. We had the two twin elders that kinda ruled the place, but they died when I was around 10, I think. And then Luvash and Arigal took over, even though they're not the oldest. Right there. Sir Muscle is a way of saying it, and Sir Cunning is the other one.
It's actually their name, Sir Muscle and Sir Cunning.
Oh, I wish, but don't say it in front of them. They're not like Madame Eva or... I wouldn't anger them.
Well, the sounds of it, they may be able to outsmart us, but I've yet to meet a foe who can outsmart Arrow. To the face.
Except for the ravens, of course.
Alright. As he continues saying, well, in the speed that we're going, I don't think we're able to reach Valaki tonight. Boreas cannot push on for that long. We're probably looking about maybe 9-10 hours till we get to Valaki. And I don't think we can do 9 to 10 hours today.
Then we will do the best we can, I suppose.
Right. You have some nice chatter during this day, but also enjoying some calm and quiet. What's the weather today? Let me see. Oh, it's just underneath, like 10 degrees with a really slow wind, making it a little bit musty, I guess. And as dusk hits, you have just like clear the parts of the valley until you come to this overlook. Ta-da!
Essie looks down on it and say, we're a little bit zoomed in here because it's a little bit closer on the picture. But Essie says, yeah, if we take camp now, you probably reach the gates of Valaki before lunch tomorrow, and around lunchtime if you're going for the camp.
I don't suppose. I mean, it's been a while since I've been around Valaki, but I mean, I don't know what the status is of the encampment or Valaki as a whole. I seem to recall there were wood elves nearby, but I don't know if that is still a thing. Do you have any
The wood
knowledge
elves?
of?
They live well. From what I've heard, Lovash and Argal is like supposed to guard them.
Guard the wood elves? Or what?
I don't know. But apparently they've gotten instructions from the higher ups, and it's apparently been that for my whole life, and probably before that too, that they're not allowed to leave that area, and we're like the jailers or something. But I don't know, they kind of keep to themselves a lot. Don't really interact with us, Vistani, and they're a little bit weird. And I haven't seen like even one woman, their own, like male. No children too. It's like just a group of male wooden elves who just sit around being depressed all the time, and we're just supposed to keep them there.
That's quite.
That sounds suspicious.
I mean, it's been like this for forever, though. It's not like it just happened overnight.
No, since it doesn't seem. Well, when I asked, I didn't really get any like date, but it seems to have been that for a very long time.
It still seems weird, though, doesn't it?
Agreed. It was always so awkward, like growing up sometimes, because you would see them standing there, just outside of the Vistani fires, and just talking to each other, or just staring out into nothingness, and we weren't allowed to talk to them, and they weren't allowed to talk to us. But we kept an eye on them. But they didn't really do much.
I would expect that they were halvers.
Oh, yeah, they kind of act like that. To be honest. But
Interesting.
I haven't looked too closely. They freaked me out a bit.
Yes, I remember only seeing them once, and they were pretty creepy, just staring into space. But it wasn't what I was really focused on at the time.
What happens if you do, or were to interact with?
I don't know.
I feel like I want to find out, and she just sort of looks towards Asphodel.
Well, I did. I was a curious child who was got berated quite a lot. They were kind of like sticks, like stones. There wasn't really that much emotion coming out of them. I mean, I was shouted at for doing it, but it's not like I wanted to do it again, because there's nothing interesting about it. Like, all of them were like super depressed.
In any case, we can't do anything about it now. We don't know the status of things. I mean, I apologize. I know you're half-elf, Illyria, but it is a deep-rooted problems in Barovia, so it's not something that we can fix overnight. But I take it that you are concerned for their well-being.
Really?
Well, maybe you keep your ear to the ground if you make it into Valaki.
And with that, You travel on for a little bit while longer, and then you make camp about 2 hours away from Volaki. You don't want to push Boreas for too long. Set up the same campfire situation. Sit down and have dinner. Remove rations for you and the horses, or for the horse, I should say. I should remove this sound. And just as you're about to discuss how you're gonna set up the watches that night, you hear coming through the trees a raven cawing in quick succession. Like over
Valeria
and
runs
over again.
towards it.
And just a few seconds after being stunned and looking around, drawing your weapons, all around you hear slow stomping footsteps and moaning voices coming closer and closer towards the camp. And with that, we're going to end tonight's episode of Curse of Mother Mystery.
Cliffhanger, no!